Hello everyone and welcome to Hands Free Entertainment. Today I have a find from my local comic shop. Shout out to Austin. He runs the channel Power Rangers Lore. He always tends to find these unique Star Trek items that he knows I'll be interested in and hangs on to them for me until I come around. And this time's no different. The book and record set. It's fun to read as you hear. These were $1.49 in, what was it, 1975, at least that's when the copyright date is here. But I have three of these. Two of them are from Star Trek, as you can see here, and one is from Space 1999. Now, I did a little bit of research on these. I couldn't find a ton of info. There was definitely a series of these back in the 70s and the 80s. I was trying to get an idea what their value is, and obviously these have, I'll go more into it, but these do have some damage, but they're not in terrible shape, and they are complete, which is great. But basically, these are a comic book that comes with a small 45 record that you would basically be able to put on, and it was timed to allow you to read the story and hear the story told to you as well. These couple here, from what I could tell, go from about like $5 to $10, depending probably on demand on eBay and on condition. This Space 1999 one, oddly enough, and I'm not sure exactly why, but is more valuable, or at least it's sold for a little bit more recently. There's one of these that's currently listed. It's not this one, it's a different issue, but it's currently listed for like $50. So that's kind of crazy. This one is not, it's like $10 or less. And again, that's going to depend on your condition. But let's go through these one by one. Let's start with Star Trek Passage to Moauv? Some sort of, I almost said tribble, but like a tribble bat thing here. Kind of reminds me of a Furby. Let's open it up. Actually, first I want to show you. So there's definite damage here along the edges. It's a broken seam there on the edge. Pretty worn. Actually seems like either through storage or someone actually using these, which would be kind of cool, you know, to know that somebody was actually reading these comics and listening to them. But here you have a listing of some of the other adventure series it seems they have. Marvel, they have like some of the old monster characters, Planet of the Apes, you know, Spider-Man, the Hulk, Captain America, etc. So that's kind of neat. There was a whole bunch of these back in the day. It actually reminds me, I'll tell a story in a moment, but I want to pull this out and take a look. This is the first time I've actually pulled it out. This is a record right here, 45 RPM, and it is, I believe this is the, oh yeah, this side is the beginning, side 1, and side 2 would be the conclusion. But yeah, this right here holds the audio recording of this story. Now, I'm not sure if it had just somebody reading it, like an audiobook, which is basically what this would be like, an audiobook for its time. Or if it had like actors, but either way, still a really neat idea. Had some pretty decent artwork, like check this out. I like these drawings of the Enterprise, the characters, pretty dramatic, well detailed. I mean, like this is, I don't know, far and above modern comic books in my opinion, at least the last few years. But check this out. Look at this artwork. This is legit stuff right here. Really does look like a Star Trek adventure brought to life as a comic book adventure. This is all like very colorful, great detail. I mean, obviously some of your proportions are a little bit off there, but who cares? It's art. It's a neat interpretation of the series. And like if you look, the dialogue looks pretty, you know, pretty real to the show. Yeah, this is the captain speaking, the whatever that is, the pet of the ambassador to the Federation has escaped, is loose somewhere near sickbay, yeoman, you know, and it's just, it builds these little stories and adventures that really sound like something, honestly. Oh, hello. Who is this? Okay, yeah, I like 70s comics. But it really sounds like stuff that could be an adventure for the original Star Trek series. And oh, look at that. It is so cool. And the texture of the paper is really nice. It's kind of sturdy. Very good print though. Like very good print. I mean, look at the colors are very, I don't use the word robust, but like this hasn't seen sunlight is what it feels like. And it also could be that the material it's printed on helps a lot, but these are pretty good length for like a little comic series. And some nice close-up shots of the Enterprise there over the edge of the warp nacelle. You know, you got your little word bubbles popping out of the windows. Really, really neat setting. I would like to actually sit and read through the stories and see how good they are. See if they really do match up with the show or the animated series. Here we have Star Trek The Crier in Emptiness. This one was a couple dollars more valuable than Passage to Moa'uv. Moa'uv, that's what I'm going to go with on that. Sounds Hawaiian to me. But again, we have a complete issue here with the 45 record. Crier in Emptiness beginning, Paramount Pictures, Power Records, Newark, New Jersey. And then you have, like, that's really cool. You got your Star Trek logo, you got the ship there, Spock, Kirk, McCoy. Looks like it's in excellent condition, honestly. Little scratch there. Ooh, little what do you got there? Oh, that's just paper. That's cool. Okay, cool. Just paper. So yeah, these are excellent. Like, I'm actually honestly really tempted to get a little record player. I've always wanted to get one anyways for music, but it would be really interesting just to give these one listen through, just to see what they're like. You know, obviously I wouldn't want to wear them out. I would want to keep them safe, but again, look at the artwork. Enterprise there in space. You know, this is the kind of thing I'd like to see more of from Star Trek. Like, the original show, and to a lesser extent in Next Generation, but you know, Star Trek in the original series and in the 90s, space seemed more dramatic. There was a lot more wonder involved. Things were a lot more like open, you know. By the time you got further into Star Trek and the, you know, by Voyager and all that, space seemed a little bit small. Almost like the Earth, you know, the planet. You know, the world gets small as time goes on, and you know, warp drives increase and all that sort of thing. But again, the artwork is fantastic here. Lots of detail, lots of care taken to make sure these characters look like the characters from the show. They definitely, is this supposed to be Kirk? Because they definitely muscled him up a little bit there, a little bit beyond where I mean, not to take anything away from Shatner back when he was young, but he wasn't exactly like some sort of beefcake or something. But yeah, very, very colorful. Very, like, it pops. The artwork pops off of these pages. Very well done. I was hoping there was more. This one seems to be, most of the drama takes place in the ship. A little less of the outdoor shots. Yeah. Very impressive. Again, I would like to read this and check it out, but another really cool issue of this Star Trek book and record set. Comic book accompanied by a small 45 record that reads it to you. The story I was going to tell, and I'll bring that up here now that I'm looking at the Space 1999. We got a little bit of an idea what these are about. When I was a kid, for me and my younger brothers, or brother at the time, this sort of thing was done with like cassette tapes. We had a Disney story that was a whodunit adventure where you had a book with all the dialogue and all that, and the cassette tape that you listened to as you went. And if I remember right, there were like timestamps. Obviously not in the way that there's timestamps on a YouTube video, but there was basically, it was a whodunit you were trying to solve, and as you went through, you could choose different options or something, and then you could like fast forward the tape to different points. So look, there's the two Star Trek ones. See, this makes me think there may have only been a couple Star Trek adventures, because you have your Oh, maybe not. These are all over the place. They're not in order. So maybe there was more of these. I'm going to have to look into it, because honestly, if there's more, I might have to try and find them. But yeah, this is Space 1999. I know very little about this series, and so I guess I'm just kind of interested in seeing the artwork that's here. But anyways, I'll kind of just show that as I speak. Basically, it was kind of the same idea, except it was a little bit more interactive. The other ones we had was, what was it? McGruff the Crime Dog? We had a whole bunch of those where you would listen to these adventures of McGruff, and it was a cassette tape. So I guess it could have been a similar idea. This seems a little bit more grown up, I suppose. Like, these comic books, like, obviously they're probably meant for kids, but they seem like they're made to also just match the franchise quality, at least for the artwork. And then, like I said, I plan to like read through the story of these and see how they do, how they hold up. Like I said, I don't know anything about Space 1999, but I definitely know about Star Trek, so very cool though. Anyways, so like I said, I have a buddy that runs a comic shop here in town, and whenever he comes across some interesting Star Trek stuff, he tends to hold on to it for me, and I really appreciate that. It's very cool of him, and I'll try to make videos of these items whenever I find them, and I thought this was really interesting, something unique. I've never heard of these, did not know they were a thing. So a nice little collectible to hang on to for my, well, one of my favorite media franchises, Star Trek.